So just very quickly before I start this review, I just wanted to invite you all to jump over to my Facebook page, Happywax TV, and sign up. What I'm doing is showing watch parties 3 to 4 times a week while we're all supposed to be like self-isolating and the movie theaters aren't open. So what I do on my page is just show some like classic horror movies like Dawn of the Dead, or last night I showed Maximum Overdrive, stuff like that. It's free. It takes like literally 3 seconds to do it. Just go into the description box where you see Happywax TV, my Facebook page. Just click the link and then just hit join or ask to be added or whatever it is. And as soon as I see your name pop up, I'll add you. And then yeah, every time I post a watch party, or usually around between 8 and 8:30 p.m. in the evenings, you guys will get a notification. And if you want to join in and watch some old classic horror movies, you're more than welcome to. It doesn't cost you anything. And the cool thing about it is we can all talk to each other while we're watching the movie through text message and stuff on the screen. So it's pretty cool. It's something to do, you know, while we're all stranded at home with no theaters or anything to go to. So anyways, if you want to, that'd be cool. And yeah, let's get on with the review. Welcome to Happywax TV. So tonight we're talking about Penance Lane. I'll be honest with you, I have sat down in the last like 2 weeks and have watched more shitty horror movies in that 2 weeks than I probably have in like the last 2 years. I don't know what the fuck's going on, but everything that I've been sent like has just been garbage. Was probably more movies that I watched that I shut off after 15 minutes than I actually made it through. I don't know if it's just like a bad time for horror movies or what. So, but I got this one sent to me and I watched the trailer, and I mean, the trailer honestly didn't wow me. So I wasn't even going to waste my time watching it. And I'll tell you, I'm glad that I did sit down and watch this movie, because it was actually pretty fucking good. Let me get into the gist of it here. It is directed by Peter Engert, and it stars Scott Taylor Compton, who we all know, Tyler Mane, who's Canadian, which is cool. If you're familiar with his name, he is the big motherfucker that played Mike Myers in Rob Zombie's Halloween movies. Who else is in here? Veteran actor John Schneider is in here from the Dukes of Hazzard way back when I was a kid. And then Daniel Roebuck, who is an icon. I mean, you all know his face. Diamond Dallas Page and Booker T are in this movie for the wrestling fans. And William Tokarski is in this movie as well as Crazy Ray. So very quickly, basically what's happening is Taylor Mane is an ex-convict. He gets out of jail. He plays Crinson Matthews. While he is in jail, he learns from Booker T's character that there's a $3 million bag of money in the basement of this house in this town. Booker asks him if he can go and get the money for him, and they'll split it. The opening scene has Booker T in it with a bunch of his brother, and then a few other people make up this band of robbers, and they're in this house trying to get this money, and they get attacked. We never know what it is, and it's actually a pretty cool first opening scene, because it kind of gets you invested in this movie as to what the fuck's going on, because they get picked off, and it's cool too, because I don't think there's any CGI in this movie. It's all practical, but they get picked off one by one out of the dark corners of this house. You know, you hear creepy noises and stuff like that as they're getting picked off, and you wonder, is it a paranormal movie? Is it a creature feature? You don't really know. And I'll tell you, for a low budget horror movie, and again, this is a low budget horror movie, so in order to enjoy this movie, you have to go in with this mindset. I don't know for sure, but if I was to throw a dart at a board to pick a number for a budget, I would say probably somewhere between $400,000 and $500,000, and that might be on the high end. Okay, this is not a big budget horror movie, so do not expect that when you go into it, and you will enjoy it a bunch more. I know it's got some pretty good actors in here, and that's what helps this movie along, is the acting. Because I mean, the story itself, and I'm just going to say now, I might get into a few spoilers here, so if you don't want to go past this point, for a rating, I would probably give this a really strong 6. and I would definitely say check this movie out. Okay, so from here on in, I might get into spoilers, but the acting really does help this movie. But there were scenes in this movie, like the first act, we just kind of learn what's going on, which I just told you about him getting out of prison, trying to find this money in this house, and then he meets Father John, played by John Schneider, and John hires him to fix this house up, and he can live in it as well, and which is bonus because he thinks he'll just go in, grab the money, and then get the fuck out of Dodge. But he has a good heart though, and he shows it throughout this movie. This Crimson Matthews character, he's not some delinquent asshole that just got out of prison that wants to create more chaos. He's actually trying to better himself. So, but it's what happens in the second part of this movie, okay? And there is reveals. We find out what is in the basement and what is actually going on in this town. And again, okay, I'm going to get into spoilers here, so if you don't want to hear it, shut the video off, go watch it, and then maybe come back. But there's these I don't even know how to describe them. Like, basically what it is John Schneider's character, Father John, and the sheriff and a bunch of townsfolk are in on this organ harvesting ring that is going on. So they get strangers and stuff into the town, and then they go missing. And when they go into this house in the basement, there's these mutant type people creatures that live down there too. So, I mean, the first night that Crimson Matthews is in this house, he doesn't get attacked by them, but, they try to break into his bedroom. So he spends the night, and this guy's a huge motherfucker. Again, this is the same guy that played Mike Myers in the Halloween movies. He has his feet against the door with a mattress so they can't break in, and then he falls asleep. So there are some funny parts in this movie. I don't know if that was meant to be funny, but it made me laugh. But, when we do get the reveal of these creatures and then also the reveal of what's actually going on, I mean, it works. It works in this movie, and it just keeps it moving along. They reveal things at the right time that keep the pacing going. And this isn't a super long movie either. It's only an hour and I think 23 minutes. So the pacing is really good. And the acting is never an issue in this movie. Now, yes, it's a B-style, low-budget horror movie, so there are some actors and actresses that are a little lesser than the bigger names like Scott Taylor Compton and a few other people. But again, I don't think this movie was done with a lot of second takes, and you can see it in some of the performances where they have a time frame. They probably have so many pages of film that they have to shoot in a day. So they don't have a lot of time or budget to go back and redo some takes. And it does show in this movie a little bit. But, the one thing that I wish this movie had was a bit bigger budget. Because there was literally scenes in the second act when these creaturey things are fighting Crimson Matthews. And the scenes are good. The scenes are good just on their own. But I was thinking, fuck, if they had a little bit more money, you know what I mean? They could have added that much more blood or gore, because there's a scene when some kids break into the house and start drinking and having a party, not knowing that Crimson Matthews is actually living in there, because this is a rundown house. But, and they get attacked by these creatures, and I thought, fuck, they could just gore the fuck out of these scenes and bloody it up. And it's a shame that they just didn't have a little bit more cash just to add that much more. There is some gore in this movie. It's very quick though, you know what I mean? And it's too bad, because really this movie, as good as it is and as much as I liked it, and again, I'm going to sound like a broken record, just a little bit bigger budget would have just put it up just a little bit higher and would have just put it over the edge for like a really good B-classic horror movie. But at the end, I did not hate this movie. I just, I went in and I gotta stop doing this. I went into this movie thinking, well, the last 4 movies I've tried to sit down and watch, I've actually shut off. They've just been fucking terrible. And again, the trailer for this flick didn't really wow me. So I didn't have high hopes. But God, honestly, I was impressed with it when it was all over. So again, this is not the perfect movie. Okay, just go in knowing that. But it is definitely enjoyable. It is low budget, B-style horror. I'll tell you right now, this movie would have flourished if it was shot in the 80s, because that's the style that it's shot in. And man, oh man, like even, what would have been cool? If they put like an 80s grain over it, that would have, something like that, you know what I mean? But it's too bad they just didn't gore it up a little bit better, because the prosthetic effects and the creatures in this movie, or the mutant people, whatever they are, look fucking killer. So, I mean, they did as much as they could with what they had. And again, I don't want to drag this out too much, but I did enjoy this movie and I am recommending it. A rating, I'm going to give a 6. It's out now. Check it out. It's called Penance Lane. If you have seen it, leave me comments down below. If you haven't, please go over and rent it, and then come back and leave me some comments. And don't forget, if you've hung around to the end, make sure you go into the description box and make sure you sign up to Happywax TV on Facebook, because I would love to see you all in the watch parties, guys. And until next time, stay scared.